guys? Josh back with a post-market edition. Mario, leave me alone. The stock up on the screen, as you can see, I'm sure you all are aware, it's Snapchat. Crazy down day in that issue today. We are down 21.5% going into the close. Read an interesting article online how at the open the buy-to-sell ratio was 6-1 favored to the buy side. So a lot of retail investors, is my bet, are doubling down on this issue. Blows me away. They lost $2.2 billion this quarter, or last quarter, I should say, and people are buying again. Like I just don't get the thought process or the logic. Maybe these guys are millionaires and just have the money to piss away. But Jesus, as a trading perspective, or just for a general trader, for a trader to step into a stock like this and buy it after a big dump like this is just catastrophically stupid, in my opinion. Speaking of catastrophically stupid, I'd like to pull up Mankind. All of you shills on StockTwits and all of these stupid sites who are just bag holders that own this stock back up when it was, what, $55. Gotta get a life. You gotta move on. You can't really fall in love with a stock like you all have with Mankind. If you guys can see, this is the big picture stock. We obviously had the reverse split here, so the chart is it's only worth so much, you know what I mean, visually speaking. But we're at very low levels. We had the most recent run from 67 cents all the way up to $1.30. And just future reference, I don't ever cover penny stocks. So if you recommend a penny stock, I'm just going to ignore you. I happen to consider Mankind of a different class of its own, just because I used to trade it pretty extensively when it was up in the $10s and $5. It's moved full circle. It's come a very, very long way from the highs, but it still has one of the most loyal, ridiculous groups of fans or investors behind the stock. It blows me away that you guys don't care about the fundamentals. It's all about just breaking even on an investment. You have no risk parameters. It's very silly. This is not a stock you want to play with, especially because it has the potential to run like it does. A lot of institutional investors are sitting on this thing. Yesterday it printed 30 million shares, and that's not a light amount of shares or volume at all. So it's definitely something to be very careful of. I get a lot of hate because I always talk smack about Mankind. If you guys would like some entertainment, it's always best to go to stocktwits.com and just put out something with Mankind in the title with bag holders, and you're bound to get 10 emails hating on your life. It's pretty funny. Another surprising move was, well, not really surprising, but Macy's was down pretty big today. We're just staircasing down over the last couple of years, as you can see, the highs of 73.61. We've traded in this range pretty significantly, this $45 to $30, $15 range for the last, I don't know, year and a half, 2 years. So this is the first move that's cracked that range in 2 years. So now we're back down to the relative lows of, what is this? This is September of 2011. So there's definitely some levels in the 20s that are going to be coming into play. If you can zoom out on the monthly, it's a pretty brim picture. Let's just run a fib retracement while I got you guys here, or an extension rather. Blah blah blah. So okay, so yeah, we've cracked the 100%. We're coming up on the 161. That's not a bit ways away to go though. That's about 14 bucks. So good $10 away from that level. But near term on the monthly, probably not a good way of identifying. So I honestly, the best bet is to watch out for these lows over here. This is what, about 22.50, something like that. So that's a near term level to keep an eye on. SPYs are doing its thing. We have a big doji today in the markets. Surprisingly, nothing really doing. Let me change my style so I can get a good view. Excuse me. Let's change this up. SPY. So this SPY, it's the S&P 500. We are just hanging out on a doji. We've got some decent volume. Basically kept up the last few days. Not really ticking higher. Not really trading lower. Interesting market we have. We tested this relative pivot to the downside today. Rejected it. We're back above. We're in this 0.75% to 0.25% range from the highs. Let's see what Donald Trump does this week to get us going, or higher or lower. Not too sure which way it'll go. Crude is something I talk about very often. We're having a bounce here. This is surprising a lot of investors. Typically, you don't really get too much of a dead cat bounce like this. You get that big wick, and then you had a couple trading sideways days, and then pop. We're back up to this relative pivot point from what is this, March of this year. So let's see if we get oil higher, if we get back into the 50s. My bet is we trade sideways for a while. I'd be pressed to find if we had some sort of trend that broke us out of this triangle or this wedge. You never know. The Saudis can do anything they want. They have the oil and the power. So keep an eye out. Stay small, guys. This is not a good trading environment. So cut back size and watch your risk. Thanks for watching. If I messed anything up, please comment down below. If there are any stocks you'd like me to cover as well, comment those down below. I appreciate you guys viewing, and I will be back with you tomorrow morning for a pre-market run through. Cheers, guys. Build a wall.